Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be updating you on what life has been like 2 months post graduation. By the time you're seeing this video, it might be the end of July. I'm not sure when I'm going to post it just yet, but I think it will be in the towards the end of July. And I just wanted to tell you what it's been like transitioning from being a student to being a full-time I want to say full-time adult, but a student is also a full-time adult, but you get the gist of it. Okay, before we get into it, please give this video a thumbs up. Please also subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. So the first thing I'm kind of struggling to adjust to is paying a ton of bills. Nobody told me the bills would be this. I don't know where they came from. It's just like they were manufactured by the air or something. Because right now I have to pay light bill, water bill, trash bill, rent. And I wasn't paying all of that because when I was in school, I was living on campus and all of those things were already accounted for. So no matter how much we used the water or used the electricity or anything like that, we didn't get any charges at the end of the month because it's already factored into what you pay for this semester. So I've kind of been having a hard time getting used to that. Of course, I did my expenses and knew how much I should be spending if I am living in a new place by myself, because when you live by yourself, usually the rent is higher, right? So I kind of factored that into my income and everything fits perfectly, but I just don't like my money going into stuff like that. I know it sounds so childish, but I don't like it, okay? I also have to pay my car notes every month, so it's not fun, you know. But it's still something to be grateful for because I prayed so hard to get to where I am right now, and I'm living so many answered prayers, so I can't complain. I have to be happy that I'm able to afford to pay those bills. So I have to be happy that I'm able to afford to pay those bills. And yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so my next point is adjusting to corporate life. Corporate life is not something that takes too much, how should I say this now? Like, I'm not struggling too much to adjust to corporate life because I was doing that in Nigeria before I came here. So many of those skills that I gained from the places I worked at in Nigeria, I've also been transferring them to where I'm working right now. So it's kind of been easy to adjust. I would say the only thing that maybe is slightly more tasking or maybe more challenging is just understanding the dynamics of work, understanding the attitude, because each company has their own culture and you need to adapt to those cultures. Do you understand what I mean? For the most part, I think I have some of the best teammates. You know what I just realized? I just realized that I don't have any co-workers like now and in the past that I can completely complain of. I've always had such a good experience at work. And this is just a sidebar because people always say, oh, you're not supposed to make friends at work. Just do your job and go home. To some extent, I understand that and I agree with that. But work people, you spend your time with them. You spend most of your time with them if you're a working adult. So it's not very out of place if you start making friends. But that's a very subjective topic and it's also a very slippery slope. So it can go either way. Anyway, the corporate life here is very easy to adjust to because I already have, especially because I went to Covenant University, they made us wear corporate clothing to school every single day. So it wasn't such a big deal like thinking of, okay, how am I going to start dressing to work? How am I going to present myself? Stuff like my hair is not really an issue. So adjusting to the life is not so difficult. I would say that the only thing that took a while for me to adjust to is my gym schedule, because for the longest time, in fact, for like 2 years, I was always going to the gym in the morning. And that's because I had so much time in school. So I would go in the morning before I go for my classes and then I have the rest of the day to myself. But now I have to adjust my schedule because I have to be at work Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays by 8 a.m. And I'm not waking up at 5. I'm not doing that. Because I'm not a morning person. Do you understand? So I need my sleep, and I usually sleep around like sometimes 11, sometimes 10, and I need to get my 8 hours of sleep. So I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. I'm not the best morning person. So that has kind of taken a little time to get used to, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. So my next point, still staying on the whole job thing, I think I have really good teammates. In my little experience, right? Marketing teams are always very nice is not the word. What word would I use to qualify the marketing team? It's like being in the humanities in school, right? A lot of humanities professors, and I'm just speaking from my experience because I went to a private school in Nigeria, but in the humanities, things are just done differently. Like, they really emphasize on the fact that you are going to be relating with human beings every day. Whichever work you're doing, whatever skills you're gaining, you're going to use that to relate to human beings every single day. So that's kind of what working in marketing feels like. And marketing is different from sales, okay? My last internship, I think that was in 2024, I was doing sales. I wasn't doing marketing. So marketing is more different, like coming up with marketing materials, writing blog posts, writing proposals, creating flyers, drafting social media posts, stuff like that. That's what marketing is. Sales is more like you trying to, make money, but marketing is kind of you having a social presence of some sorts, or being able to relate with your clients if you guys need to strike an agreement, stuff like that. That's kind of what marketing is like. So marketing feels a lot like the humanities. As far as my job, my schedule is pretty flexible, and honestly, I really can't thank God enough, because my prayers were very, very specific. Like, whenever I'm praying to God, my prayers are very, very specific. Initially I wanted a remote job, like just something I can do from home, but I got a hybrid job, and I think that actually works really well for me, because I want to actually go to work sometimes and like be seeing people. That kind of motivates me. I don't want to be in the house all day, because I'll just be locked in, in the house and just being on my computer. So it's kind of nice to go out and learn how to learn the environment. I was struggling to learn the routes to work as well, because I'm not really good with directions. So it took me a while to kind of get used to driving without the map. But now I can do that. There's that. So I currently work a hybrid job. So I'm 3 days in the office and 2 days at home, which is very, very, very good if you ask me. And work is only a 20-minute drive from here. I can't even say this enough. Oh God, I'm so tired. So tired. I can't even say this enough, but I'm learning so many things that I didn't know existed. Like, for instance, yesterday, when I'm filming this video, yesterday I did a very short interview with a project manager about hydrographic surveying. I never knew anything about that before, but he gave me so much information, and I was like, oh wow, this is really, really interesting. Like, because I work in construction and engineering, so it's very, very new. Like, all that stuff is very new to me, but it's also really interesting, surprisingly. And I'm not like in the nitty-gritty of it, like actually going into the field. I'm just in marketing, but being in marketing means you still need to know the ins and outs of all these things, because you need to write about them, and you can't write about something you don't understand or something you don't know. My next point is that I am trying to make new friends, but it's kind of hard to do that as an adult. Like, I've seen people, strangers, at my Pilates place where I go to do Pilates every week, and I've been wanting to, like, say hi and talk to them and say, hey, what's your name, blah blah blah. But I don't want to I don't want to come off as a creep. Do you understand what I mean? Because it's so okay. I don't have a problem approaching people, right, to talk to them and stuff like that. My problem is that I don't know how people take it. Do you understand? Do you understand what I mean? Like, I have this close friend. Her name is Benita. We met at the gym in Nigeria, and this was us. Like, I think she was doing hip thrusts or something. She needed me to help her put the weight on her. And I did that, and we exchanged numbers that day. We started talking. So she wasn't worried about it. Do you understand what I mean? I don't know what people take that like here in America. And most of the time, right, if I'm trying to make new friends, maybe I'm trying to make friends with Black American women, because I am African. So the minute I talk, people just be like, oh, where's your accent from? I'm just like, okay, like what? It kind of stresses me out slightly because Nigeria doesn't really have a very good international reputation. So I'm always very worried about that. But at the same time, I'm not someone that even knows how to fake an accent. Like the way I'm talking to you guys here on YouTube is the way I talk to my colleagues at work. It's just kind of hard to make friends as an adult because when I go to work, after work, I dress up for the gym from work. And I go to the gym from there. At the gym, I go to an old people gym. Okay, it's mostly old people. You only see old people or teenagers there. I'm not going to make friends with teenagers. Like, what do we have in common? Nothing. I want friends in my age group. So it's very difficult trying to do that. And I honestly, see, if you have any friendship making tips for me, put it in the comments, because I'm trying to make more friends and like find activities to do with, I mean, when I say friends, I mean like girlfriends. Okay, I need more girlfriends around me. My friends live far away from me, and it's just unfortunate. I can't really see them as often as I want to because they're in different states, and America is huge. And if I want to see them, one person has to fly. So anyway, that's that on friendships. So I'm still figuring that out, especially in a new city. It's not easy at all. I mean, I know people here, but I want to know more people. Something else that I have been trying to do actively is to be very grateful for where I am. I honestly don't have any reason to complain. I have like 1 or 2 things in the works that I'm trying to, do for myself. I have so many goals to reach, so many goals to hit. And I am hopeful that those things come through because that's one of my biggest, oh my gosh. In fact, at the beginning of this year, that was the first thing I told God. I said, besides me getting a job after school, I'm not going to say it right now, but I was like, I really need this thing to come through for me. And that's what I'm working on. But besides that, everything else is going so well. Like I have a job that lines up perfectly with the 2 degrees that I have and all the experiences that I've gotten. I have a nice place to stay in. I'm able to afford my rent. I'm able to pay my bills. Do you understand? I'm living so many answered prayers because I remember living in Nigeria, and no shade to my parents. I love my parents, but as you're growing up as an adult, especially in a Nigerian home as a woman, and you're trying to be more independent, but you just don't have the leeway to do stuff like that, especially if you come from an overprotective family, especially with my dad. My dad was more overprotective than my mom. My mom, she started being hands-off as we started getting older. My mom's thing was just do your responsibilities in the house, and then you can do whatever you want to do. But my dad is like, he wants to be seeing you in the house every day. So... And I made a video about this some years ago, and so many people could relate to that video. So it was not easy trying to just have a sense of self and live with your parents. And I would always think about, oh my gosh, this is what it's going to be like if I live by myself, if I have an apartment, if I'm driving to work, if I'm working a job that I like. I used to be so delusional. Maybe not delusional, but I had a lot of huge goals and aspirations and prayers, and I can't thank God enough. Like, by the grace of God, I am where I want to be. I'm trying not to get too comfortable, but at the same time, I'm also trying to be very appreciative of where I am. And I'm trying to also, how should I say it now? How when you go to church, and I don't mean to get on my soapbox about church and all that, but when you go to church and your pastor tells you that you need to start being grateful to God for the things you have and not always be asking. That's what I'm trying to practice, and that's what I've been doing. So I'm very, very happy with where I am. I think in my life in general, like in all the milestones of my life, God has always come through for me because I'm always very, very specific and delusional in my prayers. Like when I was graduating from Covenant University, my undergraduate degree, I I used to pray back then that I would get a job that would pay me like 70K a month during NYSC. NYSC is National Youth Service Corps, and it's like a 1 year paramilitary. I don't think that's the word, but it's kind of like a 1 year thing where you serve your country for a year in Nigeria. And I would be so delusional to say, oh, I want them to pay me like 70K a year in my place of primary assignments. Your place of primary assignments is just like where you get a job. And I remember people would tell me, oh, they don't pay corps members that much. Like, that's a dream. And I was like, I would dream. And guess what? My dreams came to pass. Okay, I was getting that 70K a month as at then from my PPA. And NYSC was still paying me 33K. So I was getting at least 100,000 a month as a copper, okay, as an NYSC person. That's how delusional I am. So I'm just like, if God can do that for me, and if I can live that experience, then what am I worried about? Do you understand? So all the milestones in my life have just always been very remarkable, if I can say that, and I'm very grateful for it. Last but not least, looking forward in the future and, settling down and whatnot, I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible. I know that life is not linear and anything can happen, but at the same time, I'm trying to focus on my goals. I'm also trying to, I don't want to be in the Midwest forever, because right now I live in Missouri, I live in St. Louis, but I want to move to either an Arizona or a Texas. So it would either be Houston or Dallas, Texas, or somewhere in Arizona. Those are the two places I want to move to because it's warmer. Arizona is warm all year and I don't really like the cold, so it's perfect weather for me. And then Texas gets cold, like some parts of Dallas get cold during the winter, but it's not as freezing as the Midwest. That's where I am right now, and that's what my life has been like post-graduation. And again, I'm very, very, very grateful, and that's why I try to document all these things when they are happening, because I like to look back. I look back at the videos I made when I was in Nigeria and I'm just like, oh wow, like I've actually really come a long way. That's why I like to document these things and post them on YouTube, and people, I don't know, people kind of like it sometimes, so it's a win-win. Okay, so that's the end of this video. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to also subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye. Can't pay my bills, can't pay my telephone bills, can't pay my automobiles. Oh my gosh. Okay.